I'm really loving this idea. Okay,
Yeah,
got
me too.
it.
Okay, good.
I love my homework.
I know. I know. We need to decide where we're going to stop next time so we stay on the same page.
Yes.
So yeah, so you were saying before I hit record, you were saying that you are surprised at how much you like Sue Ellen. I want to like her, but she's so mean to Victoria Principal, who is just an angel.
She is, but I think that what I like about her character, because I'd always sort of dismissed her because I think that actress is pretty bad. But so I'd always kind of like just, oh, well, okay, who are you? All right. Her character is the most interesting to me because
Mhm.
she's about the only one that has multiple motivations going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Everybody
true.
is just one thing, as opposed to our beloved Grey's Anatomy, where people are complicated. Better modern storytelling, complicated people.
Yeah,
These
that's
are
true.
stock images.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I've been really drawn to her, which has surprised me. I love
Yeah.
it when well, part of it I think is they hold her off for a couple of episodes. We didn't see her much.
Well, I know, and that was so bizarre because they kept showing Tina Louise as his, mistress. And I kept thinking, like, if Tina Louise is his mistress, like, who is his wife? And I expected, because maybe this is just my own experiences as a Southerner. I I don't know. In my experience, when I have
Mhm.
seen a guy like cheat on a woman, especially her name's Sue Ellen, which is like a nice Southern name. Um, Usually, like the woman who is the mistress is depicted as being sort of a vixen, which Tina Louise kind of is in this show, and even the way she's made up. And then I expected Sue Ellen to be wholesome and like a debutante and sort of virginal, and you know, but no.
No, not at all. And she's such interesting casting because she's not the classic Miss Texas look either.
No, and she also seems like, I don't know, I'll have to look back. To me, I was very curious about how long it had been since she was Miss Texas, because
Hmm.
when they showed the photo of her being Miss Texas, it looked like they had just taken it yesterday in production. I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know how long she and JR have been married and trying for children, and and if he had this idea that he wanted, like, because he won't sleep with her,
I
and
know.
so I thought it was like he wants his wife to be pure, but I don't know.
Yeah, I really felt bad for her when she bought that sexy black lingerie and he threw that in her
I
face.
know. That's when I realized that JR was not complicated. Like, give JR
Hmm.
an
Hmm.
opportunity. He's always gonna do the shitty thing.
Yep. Yeah, he's I think his character is fun because he's predictably awful.
Yeah.
Because when I was watching this, there were so many things that were just driving me batty, of course. And so I said to myself Monday, I said, okay, what do you like about it? Because I enjoy sitting here watching it.
Right.
It's not painful to me. I mean, it's excruciatingly cringy sometimes, but I'm still want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They've got that down. They've got that soap opera thing down. And JR is fun because he is just like Snidely Whiplash to the extreme. He pushed Pam out of the hayloft.
Yeah. See, that's the thing where I felt like there was an opportunity to make him complicated. Like, I
Hmm.
because I don't know if he did it on purpose.
I don't know either.
The way that they shot that, it was very that was complex and interesting, and a little
Hmm.
lovely nugget of like, oh no. And he does seem to feel really bad, but and that's why I'm not sure if I like Sue Ellen, because Sue Ellen's happy.
She was happy.
It's like,
She, I like her very obvious ploys to get in Jock's good graces.
and Jack's just like oblivious. Like, she might as well treat her like she's the help.
Oh well, there's so many elements to talk about. I don't know. What do you think we should?
All right, let's go
How
episode
do
by
we do
episode.
this?
Let's go episode by
Okay,
episode.
that's a good plan.
Those are oh, okay. It's telling me I can't. It's telling me I can't minimize the Zoom, like your picture, while I'm recording it. So I am going to do my best to read through the recaps that I have pulled up on the other thing.
Okay.
Um,
And probably if you just give me the like a sentence or two, I'll know.
okay,
Because
so
I really binged them pretty much together in the past 2 weeks.
so did I. So did I. The only one that I watched kind of on, I watched like the first five because that's like I said, technically season one because I think that was a mini series. So I watched those like boom, 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 and then I took maybe 3 or 4 days and watched the
Mm-mm.
other ones. Up to Gary and Val's reunion. Okay, so the first episode is Digger's daughter. That's what it's called, Digger's daughter.
That's right. That's right.
And the thing that sticks, so that's the one where Bobby brings
That's
I
right.
can't remember Victoria Principal's name in the
Pam.
show. Pam, thank you.
He brings
So
Pam
he
back.
brings Pam home and he's married to her, and of course she's been sleeping before she was sleeping with Ray. And yeah, and she's Digger's daughter and old time rivals or whatever, and they've got like a Montague Capulet thing. But what's crazy to me is they seem to have like clicked at a barbecue. I don't think they ever explain like how that happened or where they were and how like
Nothing. And there's a lot of allusions by other people to Pam's past, that she was pretty wild, but there's nothing, because there's nothing about that we've seen or we know, or
or
other than Ray.
or that we can pick up in her demeanor or
Nothing.
her,
No.
because she talk about not being very complicated. She's sort of like the yin to JR's yang. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you give him a choice, he's always going to take the wrong path. She's always going to take the right path, and she's presented as this like wholesome thing. But that doesn't jive with the information, like the exposition that they gave us, and it doesn't. The only thing that sort of reveals a little, if you stretch it, that she was wild is how well she connects to Lucy and how interested she is in Lucy.
Yeah, and that seemed to be that was kind of the reasoning they gave behind that. She sees herself. So maybe more will come out of it, or maybe it was just a way to give her someone to connect to because she's the new person.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of from her, she's our like that fish out of water sort of thing. Here she comes.
yeah, she's like the whatever it is, the typical Munster that's like really
Yeah.
the
Yes,
weirdo.
exactly. Yeah, she's Marilyn Munster.
Marilyn. I always get her name backwards with Lillian. Like I get their
Yep.
not their characters, but their names.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's Marilyn Munster. And what's crazy too is maybe she connects to Lucy because they're spinning this narrative. Like I can't tell how wealthy Pam grew up because they spin this narrative that like Digger was left in ruins, and Pam didn't have much, but she definitely like carries herself in dresses, and like she's had it good. So I don't know what that's about.
I don't either, because when we saw Cliff Barnes' apartment, it is not great. For an attorney who is helping the state Congress, when Tina Louise went to his apartment,
It was like a nasty, like just out of college. Yeah.
really
Whereas
with a big framed picture of Digger on some dresser. There was Digger.
And then Pam's apartment is like really nice, and she's got like all of these nice clothes, and she doesn't seem like, I know she's a fish out of water in the way that she's treated at Southfork, but she doesn't act like country coming to town.
No.
So that's a little like what, and why is Digger such a big rival still if he doesn't have any power or prestige? Like I don't really know what that's about either.
Do you think he's always working and now Cliff is taking that on to bring the Ewings down somehow? Like
Yeah, I mean,
that's his mission.
well,
But Digger's just in a bar Boy, the crowd loved his stories when
Oh
she
my
pulled them
God.
up.
Digger is
Don't that crew,
Digger
the
is a
bar
trip.
crew.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Digger seems like he's from the wrong side of the tracks, and like
Hmm.
so I understand like Digger wanting revenge, but here's the thing I don't quite understand about status, and the show is a lot about status. Like
Hmm.
the person who has the high status is the person who has the thing that the other person wants. So I understand Digger wanting revenge because he's low status. What I
Hmm.
don't understand is why they're, as my mother would say, why they're studying him, why they're even worried about him. It's like, how the Yankees fans in the 90s used to be like, well, everybody talks about the Red Sox rivalry, but they're not a good team, so
Yeah.
it's a rivalry to them, but it's not a rivalry to us. And so that's what I'm kind of like, what?
Yeah, it is weird. I guess, yeah, I don't know. And I was thinking that Pam, they did make, because Sue Ellen was quite insulting about Pam having worked in a department store.
Oh, right.
So maybe that she got jobs like that and she got some clothes on a discount or something that pulled her up out of being, because like Val, who we meet in later episodes, is very low status waitress. And
Yeah.
that maybe that keeps Pam from being that. So she's appropriate for Bobby's wife, who, by the way, I think Bobby is dumb as dirt. So dumb.
He's like a mimbo,
He
like,
really is. And
yeah.
I was so glad, I think in episode 3, they cut down his bouffant a little bit.
I was kind of digging his bouffant just because I'd never seen hair like that, and it was pretty intense. Like I'm actually looking at a still photo because I can see like half of the recap, and the still photo they have of Victoria Principal looking adoringly at Patrick. It's like it looks like Sally Field's hair in Steel Magnolia.
I was thinking it was a helmet when I was looking at him with this hairstyle.
It's
And they put them in the
amazing.
wind all the time. And of course, Bobby's doesn't blow because it is sprayed. Like they're
Yeah,
always out in the Texas wind somehow.
I love Bobby's hair. That's like I'm super here for it. And I love how like he doesn't have bangs, but somehow his hairline is like right here.
Exactly.
I'm like, what? How's that possible? I don't. Where's your forehead, bruh? Like his hair's on backwards. I don't understand, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Oh,
Uh,
I was relieved when they gave him a trim. Finally, he got less hair, but
yeah, I was a little
he's so
disappointed.
stupid.
He's
He
so stupid.
is
Well,
dumb.
they write him like he's gonna be this threat to JR because he's digging around, but then he's leaving files at his house and
The files.
come on, Bobby. Like Bobby's and you can tell Bobby's like, I I feel like something's being hidden from me. Mo.
He
That's
did
bad
have
enough.
a funny line, and maybe it was episode 4 or something. He was working in the office, and his secretary said something. Why don't you take the day off or something? He said, "No, I finally have something real to do." Or he had someone like that.
Yeah, he like Bobby's like the family pet, he's like a Labrador. He's like, hey guys, you know, um, but he really wants to be important and he really wants to impress Pam. But like, I wish they did as much exposition as they have done on so many factors. The thing that starts the show and sort of is the impetus for where we come in is the marriage between Bobby and
Mhm.
Pam. And there's so little exposition other than that they talked at a barbecue Ray brought her to. There's so little exposition about like why they got married, why Bobby decided to settle down when he had been a playboy, like how they got together, like were they worried about like it's so little.
And that's the biggest relationship in the show, except for JR against everybody, that I would really like to have seen that.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would help me care about them more because they're pretty boring.
they're pretty vanilla. And so you kind of can't help but like, and this is awful, but you kind of can't help but enjoy JR because he's
I
at
know,
least dynamic.
exactly. And okay, what about shall we what about who do you well, the best actor I've seen on the show is Brian Dennehy, by the way. I
Oh my
lost my
God.
mind. Brian
I,
Dennehy. Ladies and gentlemen, Iceman cometh, Brian Dennehy.
I Willie
Yes,
Loman, Willie Loman, Brian
Willie
Dennehy.
Loman, your favorite Willie Loman. Here he is. I
But he shows
loved it.
like, well, I loved it too, but at the same time, when he shows up, you're like that whole storyline was weird too, because you're like, okay, is he a rapist or is he just like upset? Like what?
The way it was resolved was
Like,
so odd.
yeah,
He's
it's his.
kind of a goofy, upset guy, but then he's very threatening. You think he's going to rape Sue Ellen, but he walks her back to get her swimsuit and brings her back.
That whole thing to me reeked of like, we're gonna get as close to like stranger rape as we can
Mm-hmm.
in like primetime television in the 1970s, you know? Like the censors aren't gonna let us go farther than this.
I agree. And let's try to get oh, I wish Linda Gray, that's the who plays Sue Ellen, Linda Gray. Let's try to get Linda in a swimsuit as quickly as we can at least.
And then
And
she's standing there crying. I'm like it's over, and she's standing there crying. It's like, cover yourself up.
no,
Like,
and nobody came to
oh
her.
my God, I know. Even and then when JR came to her, it was like so stilted that she rejected him, and that whole thing was weird.
And when what made Brian Dennehy change his mind? It was something they said, was it Pam that said, I think Wanda really wanted to be with somebody, or there was something where he said, oh, I guess you didn't attack her. I've got some talking to do with Wanda when I get back.
My rapey rage has been misguided, and he had this big epiphany that was so abrupt and weird. And he was more like that guy, as weird as that was. Brian Dennehy's character is the most complex one in the room. And then you see like there was such a missed opportunity to have a moment, because like I'm always talking about improv, like when you're in a scene together, explore the togetherness. You know, there may be friction and reasons that, you know, might threaten that togetherness, but there's also a core of togetherness. There's a reason you're in the same space. So there, that was an opportunity for
That's
us
good.
to see where Sue Ellen and JR actually had it, some like why they were married in the first place. Just a little embrace, like some tenderness, something, because
She
that
had to
would make
stand
it.
in front of them half naked singing people.
I mean,
I was like, is this supposed to be her Emmy moment? Is this like her Emmy reel? What is this? Bless her heart, they're making her sing people.
right, and she was, you know, like I did feel like, as far as like the context and the time and the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it that was probably really compelling and really evocative,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give credit where credit's due, but at the same time there was a big missed opportunity for us to
Mm-hmm.
see Sue Ellen and JR have a
I agree.
moment of tenderness. Otherwise Sue Ellen is more one-dimensional than she needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
because why is she with him if it's not for his money when he treats her like that?
Because she could easily leave.
Yeah.
And there was a missed moment. I thought they were going to do a thing where Pam, they did have her say, you can go with me because again, I'm trashy or whatever she was trying to say to that boy. But I
Oh yeah,
wish we
I'm
could
one
have,
of you. I'm one of
yeah, I'm one
he
of
kept saying
you.
we didn't come for one of us. And it's like,
Us.
what
I'll
why?
go
Because
with
she,
you.
like, why? Because she grew up like moderately poor? Is that
You're gonna
you can't rape her because she's poor?
no. I would have liked to have seen. I thought she was gonna save the day because earlier in the episode, Miss Ellie said, Miss Ellie with the migraine said, I think we're being too hard on Pam. And I thought, oh, and then when Pam was down there, I thought, oh, okay. So maybe it's good they didn't do what I was predicting they would do. But it was a very odd ending
And
to that whole
Lucy, what
thing.
the fuck, Lucy? Lucy's like, you know, you should rape Pam.
Oh, I know. Have we talked about even? maybe we can just go down a Lucy path for a minute
Okay, yeah.
with the school teacher plot.
Oh God.
That episode was equally like, I mean, I really was that other one, honestly, without Brian Dennehy, I might have just turned it off, but I was so amazed that he was there. And I was happy he was a, an actor making money. I was like, okay, you go, you do
And an
that.
actor making choices. You could tell he was doing what he could
Yeah.
with the material, you know?
He was making choices, and even with that weird choice at the end, but Lucy and this school, her continued plots are too crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what episode the teacher wanted. Oh my God, when you click on Winds of Vengeance, episode 4, the still is Sue Ellen crying in her swimsuit.
Oh.
All right. Let's see. Where's the school teacher thing? What episode was that
What
in?
was it? It was like the third. I mean, it's really early because Pam was making friends with Lucy, who had been having Ray take her to school.
Yeah, oh God. No, episode 3 is the one where, where Bobby leaves the file
Oh, well, we can
and then
talk about that. That was good.
that actually was good, but at the same time, like, why is Bobby so stupid?
And why, if they have those this most important files in the world, or it's just some kind of little red folder, are the most important things for their company. I guess it's all the blackmail details.
I
Did you
guess.
did you ever watch All My Children ever?
No, I've actually never seen a daytime soap.
Well, at the end of the run of All My Children, which I am a 40-year long watcher of All My Children, I taped it, I loved it. But at the end, they had created in a lab, the long story short is a way to bring people back from the dead. Okay, so it was the Lazarus Project. And so they kept all the information. The doctor, when he would have one file folder and he would say, no one can get the details of the last, it was one manila folder in the top drawer of his cabinet. And when I saw them running around with this comedy with this red file, I thought, that's like the Lazarus Project. This is your most important thing. And
Right.
you can't let Bobby see it now.
Yeah, but I guess, again, now it would be like a thumb drive or like,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
but then there's that still we don't know, and I hope they don't leave it alone. I hope they go back to it. I don't know. We still have that missing. Remember when Bobby showed up and JR took the other like
Mm-hmm.
mystery red file and gave it to Tina Louise, and then Tina Louise like put it in a safe or in a safety deposit box or something. I
Mm-hmm.
want to know what's in that folder. But yeah, if you're running around with red folders and then you leave it behind the couch when you're like, romance novel smooching Victoria Princess, and then she finds it, and everybody accuses her, and it's really Tina Louise, and then Tina Louise confesses because she has the for a harlot, she has like the best moral compass of
I
all.
know. And then leaves the show. I guess she left the show.
There to be like like probably a pull in the miniseries, like a
Yeah.
draw name. But my goodness. And then to find out, I thought this is interesting. To me, this reminded me of like Charles and Camilla. So
Mm-hmm.
JR's been with her pre Sue Ellen, and that's like who he's really in love with. But
Yes.
that's why I thought Sue Ellen should have been like more wholesome, because why would he pick Sue Ellen over Tina Louise?
Yeah, you're right. They're very similar, really, because Tina Louise was not all bad. In a way, she's better, as you said, moral compass than Sue Ellen.
I wonder if it was social standing, but if it was, they should have like developed that. Like, did Sue Ellen come from a big family and it was sort of like a royal marriage, or like what? Why did you pick Sue Ellen if you're not gonna fuck her, and if you don't want to be with her, and you're gonna go fuck, Ginger over
Who
here?
looks great, who looks first class. She didn't look like a hillbilly in that
Right?
office.
No, but the way they made her up, she was like
Oh, it was awful.
Belle Whatley from Gone with the Wind. Like
She
why?
really was.
Like why?
Did you
Why?
think maybe she was going to kill herself?
I thought I thought she
I
was
saw
gonna
her look
do.
in a mirror and I thought she was going to kill herself with pills.
I thought I don't remember if that occurred to me specifically, but I can see why you would have thought that. But I thought she was gonna like skip town or like maybe try to get revenge on JR or hurt Sue
Mm-hmm.
Ellen. Like there was this moment of darkness, but it turned
Mm-hmm.
out that she ended up being like, the most self-actualized person, and healthy person we've met so far because everybody else either inflicts a ton of abuse or takes it.
Very good. Yeah. And if you're Bobby, you're just kind of in the middle, not
Yeah, if you're
knowing
Bobby, you're
anything.
just like
I'm
the
not sure Bobby
Labrador.
even understood what happened ever.
No, no. But the moment where Pam tells him she's pregnant is so sweet.
Oh,
And
that was sweet.
yeah, you just know it's not going to last. You just know shit's
Oh,
about to go down because it was such a like sweet moment. I'm like, she's falling down the stairs. She's getting in a car accident. Like something is happening.
and when you saw her climb up that ladder to that hayloft, I knew that was the end of
Oh
it.
yeah, same,
That
same.
was the end. And by the way, who climbed? And what are they wearing at the barbecue? Some people are dressed for evening. Some people are in Western shirts, and it seemed to be in the middle of the afternoon. And I mean, okay, well, we just have to say the help. Lord have mercy, TV. I looked at that and I thought, wow, even as late as 1978, it was this bad.
Well, there are no black people in the show if they
Mm-mm.
don't work for the family, and to watch that in 2022 was definitely jarring, like definitely jarring.
I mean, at least they had Bobby say, please drop the mister. It's like,
Yeah,
well, that's something at
I
least.
know. Bobby's like an
Bobby's
everyman.
trying.
Yeah. No, it was yeah. That was like, ooh, that was cringy. That was cringy.
But I
No,
thought it was a sweet moment, and I thought it was nice acting to watch between Bobby and Pam. I thought it was really sweet.
I thought it was too. I thought it was really sweet. But that was also the barbecue where they're like, gonna tell everybody and it's going around. Number one, that would not happen in 2022 because everybody waits now until the first trimester
Mm-hmm.
is over. Um, but the other thing is, I was like, okay, maybe now because this is a barbecue and we heard that they
Mm-hmm.
connected at the barbecues when she was there with Ray. So
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I kept waiting for them to be like, "Oh, and remember, and this is how we fell in love," and like that's where we had our first little like stolen
I
moment.
wish
I know. I'm like, come on, writers.
we could have cut a little of Digger singing the Yellow Rose of Texas and have that.
Do you know I have a theory, and the writing isn't gonna be good enough for this to happen. I feel like honestly, the writing's not great. I feel like they're relying a lot on the tropes, on the devices
Mm-hmm.
of like this guy is bad and this lady's good. Like there's not a lot
Yeah.
of really good writing. It's still compelling, but it's the writing's a bit shallow, at least at this point in the series. But my theory, because Gary's such a ne'er do well, I'm wondering if he might be Diggers.
Oh my gosh, that's good because he's Ellie's favorite.
Yeah.
He's different from the others.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want that to be true.
Me too. It would explain like, why Digger is still such a threat and why Ellie loves him so much even though he's a ne'er-do-well, why he was, an other. Like even if people don't everybody doesn't know, like there's still enough people who know that the way they treated him would have caused, friction.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
Oh, I
crazy?
wish it'd be great because I liked the scenes between Digger and Ellie.
Me
I liked that.
too.
I liked them. And I guess that actor, that's David Wainwright. So he's had a long career. So I thought they were good. I liked it.
I was also a little bit like disappointed because again, I just not to be snobby and self-important, but there were just missed opportunities for better writing. because at that point they've got a parallel between Ellie and Digger and JR and Tina Louise. So
Mhm.
like
You're right.
why didn't you marry? Like they could have drawn some sort of parallel there or some sort of like edit to something and connect those dots because if he if she married Jock for social standing, and that would explain if JR followed suit, and maybe Ellie was the one who told him he couldn't marry Tina Louise. You know, there's just a moment that could have happened.
Because she wanted to save that family ranch, and Jock had the money. And what is her maiden name? Do they say Southworth? What are they saying?
Oh gosh, I don't
I have to
remember.
look because I thought, well, it's not going to be Southfork, but it was something. And she keeps talking about that as related to Gary too. And I liked it when Digger said, "Nobody calls me Willard." And I don't know, that was really nice. If we
Yeah, it
had
was
more of
intimate.
that,
Like
yeah, it
I
really
wanted
was.
them to be together. I mean, he was kind of a train wreck now, but you could see shades of how
Mhm.
he used to be. Um, and how Pam's nephew got recast, and you're
I
like,
know.
who is
I
that?
didn't recognize him.
I didn't know he was supposed to be the same person.
No.
I was like, what? Who's
Until
that?
somebody said it. I had no idea who this guy in a car was. I didn't
No,
connect where Lucy was going at
me
all.
neither. Me neither. And then it's like, oh, she's with and who is the actress who's playing Lucy's mother?
Is it Joan Van Ark? I
Maybe
think it is.
it looks like one of the Dynasty ladies.
And then Lucy later, because I thought, well, how did she find her? And then they wait an episode later where Lucy tells Gary, well, she started hanging around the school.
Yeah, I
And I
laughed
just
out
knew she was
loud.
here for me because
I laughed out
what?
loud. Oh yeah, she was on Knots Landing. I knew that I recognized her from somewhere. I thought it was Dynasty, which I've never seen Dynasty or Knots Landing, but the previews were on, like the commercials were on all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So yeah, Joan Van Ark, you were right. So yeah, like, and I just knew she was for me, like, no, you call the authorities. Like, who is that over
Who
there?
is that? And she's in Fort Worth and she's a poor waitress, but she has time to come hang out at school during the day
And just stand there. And
and stand there.
did they cover why like how she found where Lucy was? Like why now?
No, no.
Yeah.
I guess she knew she was on the ranch. I think she did know that.
Yeah, I think she knew that, but
She
like
knew that, but so she
I
had
so
to
I guess
find her
the
school.
school, and there probably is only like one school, but
I mean, I'm picturing her in a car in a truck with
I'm picturing her
binoculars.
just standing there, like
The
standing there,
school
like
out
Captain,
front.
like Captain Stranger Danger, you know, just standing there and staring and crying, like what is happening right now? And Lucy's like, "That's my mom," and then so she finds this is so like fantastical. So she finds her mother Val, and Gary's working at the hotel where Pam and Bobby are, and then
Okay, that comedy, whatever that was,
they
him
try
pretending
for comic relief and it just ends up being way too slapsticky and out of place. You're like, 2 seconds ago, somebody was about to be raped, you know, and now you're like,
exactly.
this doesn't, it's too jarring. It's like, I understand you might need a little comic relief, but like, don't go into a Laurel and Hardy routine. Like, it just maybe shades of comic relief.
Well, just like when at the end of the school episode, we go through that horrible thing with Lucy and the guy and this all this and then at the end Bobby just puts his arms around Lucy and Pam and says, I got my two girls.
I was livid. I hate Lucy. I mean,
I
I'm
do
over
hate Lucy.
I
I hate
hate
her.
Lucy. But at the same time, like I tried not to because again, 2022 lens, I'm like,
I know.
she's a victim, like she's, you know, and I don't hate her in relationship to the Ray thing. Like Ray
Mm-hmm.
is definitely the villain in that dynamic. Like, what the fuck is he doing? But then the way she serves Pam up to the rapist, the way
Oh, that was the lowest.
yeah. like I hate Lucy. She's such a spoiled little shit.
And that casting is perfect. She looks the part more than anybody else does.
Oh,
It's
I totally
perfect.
agree. And she's I looked it up and she's in her 20s. She's older than she's playing, which makes it a less creepy from
That's
like an
better.
acting standpoint because she's making out with Ray's the actor who plays Ray. But she's in her 20s, but she looks the casting is perfect because she's just like angelic looking enough, but all like
Hmm.
where you can see how people are like snowed, but she's also just like sexual and vixeny enough. Like that casting is perfect.
And and yet, even in 1978, I think they would fire Ray. Like they never address it.
Well,
Really?
no, well, and that's the thing
Have
too.
they,
Like,
all of a sudden Lucy's going to school and she has a little ponytail with a bow and we see her with some books.
and then you're also wondering, like, after that night where like Ray and Lucy are together, Bobby and Pam see
Bobby saw
them.
them. Yes.
Is yeah, like he punches Ray, right? And the whole thing is, if they find out, they're so the only thing I can figure is that Bobby didn't tell Jock, and then you're like, what is Bobby's problem? Like,
I know.
why
Why is that okay? What is Pam's problem if she told Bobby, oh no, it's Ray, but it's Ray is nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Like
It'd be
Ray,
easier for them if Ray was gone. He wouldn't
well,
be a
that's
reminder.
the thing that I keep thinking of is that Ray has been on that ranch for
Yeah.
decades. He has, so that it makes him more part of the thing, but at the same time, that also makes it apparent that he's known Lucy since she was an infant.
Oh,
And that's just like, no, like if he's family, that's not why you keep him. That's why you let him go because that makes it worse.
you chase Gary away, but
You
you keep
chase
this
Gary away,
guy.
like no, and the way that they depict that, like they depict Lucy as the aggressor, and and it's hard because she is such a shit. But in that, like Ray, all Ray has to do is just like stop taking like he okay, so he does try to stop taking her to school, but
Yeah.
it's like okay, just take her, like just take her, like drop her off. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like you don't turn the car around.
Oh, the way they turned that truck around.
And then she's up in the miscarriage hayloft, like
Just don't go up there.
yeah, like and yeah, at one point it becomes clear, and this was kind of compelling, that because he fucked up, I mean royally, illegally, criminally, and he slept with her in the beginning. Now, given who she is as a person, she's blackmailing him,
Hmm.
so he can't really say no to her because she'll just tell everybody. Um, but then when everybody finds out, nothing happens.
Except Jock doesn't know. I guess that's
Yeah,
the
I
big
guess Jock
thing.
doesn't know, but I mean, come on. And I just thought that that whole storyline was like, like Ray needs to get his comeuppance, or if like I don't know.
And I thought they had stopped, and then she comes back. I felt like, well, we can be done with that now, right? We're not going to do that. And then it was creepy to me how Ray looked on with a smile as Lucy ran to her daddy.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. No, that whole thing is just like no. Like of all the loose ends that you're not tying up, why do you keep going back to like? Is it because the demographic was like people who would think that was sexy, like guys who would be into that?
I think that may horribly be true.
Yeah, like some sort of fantasy playing out, like this
The
Lolita fantasy.
hayloft and everything, the farmer's daughter or whatever, the
Yeah,
rancher's daughter.
right. But like Ray is gray headed. Like I
Older than Bobby. He is old. He's like JR's age, I think.
yeah, so like I understand like I don't know if maybe what would have been a little bit better is if since we're rewriting the show is
Mm,
if Ray had had a son and the son was a little bit older than Lucy, and they had kind of been raised almost like kin, like brother and sister or whatever.
That'd be good.
And then it's still as clandestine. You still have those classist kind of tropes.
Mm-hmm,
You still have the
mm-hmm.
socioeconomic, and maybe he's just like maybe he's like 24. You know, it's still statutory rape, but it's not like a pedophile.
I think that would have been interesting too. And
Ugh.
but I think yeah, and they don't tie it up. I feel like they just always want that available.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what if Gary finds out? Is Gary so nice he's not gonna? Oh, and what about Gary and her dad? A polite handshake. It's not COVID times. Y'all could hug.
yeah, that was so weird.
Hello, Lucy. Hello, Daddy. With everyone watching. And they all, do you notice how they dress in similar colors? Sometimes the whole family has a
Yeah,
palette. Like when
yeah.
they were out drinking coffee, they were all in white.
100% I noticed that. And that's why to me Tina Louise's costuming and makeup was so jarring because she was in like everything was like brown and burgundy, you know?
Her
Like
face was just like contouring by Crayola. Just, oh,
I'm like, I guess that's how they made her severe or whatever. But yeah, like everybody else is in like beige and white and gray. Like those are like you're right, they have a palette.
and another difference from today, and those people were really lucky. Like JR is not hot.
No,
You
no,
know, and
no.
so, and like none of, I guess Bobby for the time was, I guess.
JR's got like I think he's got a handsome face, but
Mm-hmm.
like, to a degree, it's not like, matinee idol, but it's, he's handsome enough. But I think it's that he's got money and a confidence.
Yeah,
And I think that's, that's gonna attract. I mean, there are women who are writing inmates, you know what I mean? Like
I know that's true.
he's
That
got
is true. When he was Major Nelson, I thought he was pretty cute, actually.
yeah, he's got
He was cute
power.
on that show,
Yeah.
but in this, and I think he is. I think that he's one of, I don't know if I just like him better as an actor. I think he might be a little better. I mean, they're all working with the dregs of material. So I can't even tell who's interesting sometimes and not.
Yeah.
I don't like to watch Victoria Principal, but I think it's her character gets on my nerves.
She's just so one note. Like I
Mm-hmm,
actually
mm-hmm.
do. I like Pam and I like Victoria Principal. I enjoy watching her, but um, because I think there's nice to have like a Pollyanna. But the
Mm-hmm,
fact that
mm-hmm.
in contrast to all of this mayhem, but they could have developed her more. Like there could be more. There could be more conflict. Like she wants to do the bad thing, but she chooses the good thing. And JR wants to do the good thing, but he has to choose the bad thing because his character is, that's who he is deep down. And so I just feel like there could have been more duality, but it's a soap opera.
Yeah, and it's a fun soap opera. And I think Cliff is cute.
Oh,
I find Cliff
Pam,
appealing.
yeah,
Yeah,
Pam's brother.
I do. I like his crooked smile.
Yeah, I think he's cute too. I think
I
he's
really
cute
like
too.
Cliff. And I think I remember, but I won't say,
Yeah,
but
please don't.
I remember other things that he does because I always kind of liked Cliff. And
Yeah,
when I saw him, I got really happy about that
I'm glad
he
to
wasn't
know
just
he.
on the TV.
Well, I'm glad to know he has a bigger part because I was wondering if they were going
Mm-hmm.
to bring him back. Well, and here,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of being on the TV, like what they never quite explain what these hearings are or how they resolve.
Like that guy resigned because of the mortgage. Was that the whole thing? The
No,
loan?
yeah, they had like there was some sort of like campaign money thing. Like he had gotten money, like that. Yeah, I kind of didn't really follow that. It was some kind of dirty money thing, and he resigned. And Cliff was mad because he wanted him in his back pocket. Like the blackmail didn't go the way he wanted to. He.
They sent Bobby to do the dirty work. The person that I just
What
love
are these
Bobby.
things about? I just don't understand. these hearings are so important. When we
I
first
know.
meet everybody, they're watching them, and then we don't really know what they're about. We don't know how they resolve. Like
No,
what's happening?
because I will give, and maybe because a traditional soap opera does have every day they have to fill. They used to have 5 days a week. They could take their time. Like this thing just drops it and runs. It's like
Yeah.
we used that to get Tina. We had to get Tina Louise off. She was done with her contract. Okay, that's done. No one's watching that. They don't. It's like look away, audience.
It's like minutes
Don't look
left.
over there.
Like what hearings? You know, like what? But
That was important enough to be televised.
watching it, and that also brings into play why the Digger rivalry is still current, but they never develop it. Like what is Cliff doing? What are the hearings about? What's at risk? What's the threat? What's in that red file? Does it have to do with the hearings? What
We
what
don't
hearings?
know.
What hearings?
But we've watched, we know there's a second verse to Yellow Rose of Texas. We know that. And how did you like those extras at the barbecue? So, all right, that was something I wrote down to bring up. When Sue Ellen sits down at a table
Oh my
of
god.
white-headed ladies in suits, and those are her friends, but they don't say anything. That scene.
That honestly, that scene was one of my favorite ones I've
I
seen thus
loved it.
far because it was so cringy. It was so cringy. And she just keeps going and she keeps going. And I loved like talk about rich silences. The looks on those extra and they man, I hope you got more than day rate because
I
the
do too.
looks on their faces were
It
priceless.
was so good. That was the strangest scene.
It was so
And yeah, it
cringy.
was just like that, just like your face was. They're
Yeah.
just looking. No one's responding to her.
I wondered,
And then
it's funny that you thought they were her friends. I'm like, do they even know her? I thought
I
she
didn't,
sat down and just like,
because that's, I thought, why is she sitting there? And she was talking about her sex life, right? Or
or lack
something.
thereof.
Her lack
In like
of with her.
graphic detail, she was like, I take care of myself.
And those ladies. And then those same ladies, some of them were standing behind the Yellow Rose of Texas. What a day of acting they got, those
I
people.
know, man. I hope that was at the top of their resume. And well, and the thing is too, like, it doesn't make sense that unless they develop it further, the whole virginal thing, it doesn't make sense that JR won't fuck Sue Ellen because he needs an heir. Unless he just doesn't care because as long as he's in charge while he's around, he can't even be selfless enough to pass it on to somebody. But there's that whole thing in the beginning, like the first, essentially the first male heir, but yeah.
Yeah, and she was trying to let him, she was so happy to let him know, hey, Bobby and Pam have beat you to it.
Yeah.
We better do something. And then, but he's just too repulsed by her.
Yeah, like it doesn't check out like why it either he wants an heir and he's gonna just suck it up and do it with her, or he doesn't. But like why this back and forth of like, oh no, Pam and Bobby are pregnant. What did you expect? You're not having sex with your wife.
Bobby does all day. When Bobby, did you see Bobby come down in a silk robe to have milk with Gary? Was that Pam's robe that he grabbed with apparently nothing underneath it?
I feel like this whole like the whole show is about like catering to like the visual sexual imagery like oh
Mhm.
the men are going to be obsessed with Lucy, let's make the women obsessed with Patrick Duffy and let's give everybody eye candy and let's just what even is writing.
Well, just exactly, which is maybe it is like an improv game, like they pull plot things out of a hat. Oh, okay. Congressional hearing, hayloft, go.
Yeah.
What can you create?
I need you to really sell the statutory rape. I need you to
Yeah, that's your job today in
that's
the
your job today. Oh my God. Tina
When Bobby,
Louise, I need you to look really, really dark in the mirror, really angry in the mirror. We don't know what you're going to do. You might be about to slit your wrist, or you might be about to kill Sue Ellen. We're not sure. Oh, you know what? We're going to have you have a great moral compass and do the right thing and skip town.
we don't have time to give you a scene in the hospital or anything. So
Right.
just go.
Oh my God. And that also was an opportunity for JR to have a human reaction, like the only girl he ever actually loved, and she's
Mhm.
betrayed him and she's leaving. Nope,
Nothing.
nothing.
I thought Bobby looked like a porn star.
Agreed. But I think that was the
It
idea.
was, yeah, it was too like, oh boy, the
Yeah.
short little robe. It was too. Miss Ellie didn't raise an eyebrow.
I know. I know.
and, and Gary, like you just came back and you're opening the carton of milk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
They are, maybe they're writing quickly. Maybe they're just bad at writing.
maybe
I
it's
don't
just like,
know.
Gary, show that this is your house and you're familiar.
I
Like,
guess so.
I
And the
don't know.
mom
But
liked it.
I feel
Oh,
like Gary, oh, you gotta go. Gary's like the Roger Clinton of the Ewings.
and I think that Gary gets a recast, but I'm not sure. We'll
Okay,
see. I think he
crazy.
does.
All
Because
right.
I kind of like Gary.
Yeah, I
His
do too.
looks,
Yeah.
I think he used to play an architect on Another World, but I'm not sure. He might just
All
look like
right.
that guy. All right. So next Friday.
Next Friday,
All right. And
10:30.
will you review our stuff and let me know help us know where to go?
Yeah, I'll review our stuff. And I'll send you a message about, like, where we should
And
stop.
what we should watch or if we
Yeah.
should. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
cool.
Thank you.
Thank
That
you.
was so fun. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.